All right, welcome back, folks. It's another Watch and Score live stream, Sunday night, UK time. It's around about tea time over in the US. You don't call it tea over there, what we're talking about. I'm on the call as usual with Alex and Josh, my two good boxing friends. We're here to watch another interesting fight from yesteryear, hopefully. It's a controversial one, as usual. That's what we do on this channel, and that will be coming up very soon. There's some instructions on the screen with how you can register and you can join our scoring group, and there's probably some more information in the description if you want to score this fight with us as we watch it, and we can compare our scorecards with your scorecards. We can see our average scorecard as the fight progresses and all of that good stuff. If you are watching and you're into YouTube on the chat, feel free to send out some words and we'll interact with you on there. Always good to have some interaction. And it'd be good if some of you want to join in the scoring as well. Alex, welcome back, mate. How are you doing?
Doing well, man. Another stream. So we got a lot to talk about.
Yes.
And once again, as always, it's going to be enjoyable.
Excellent. How you holding up, Josh?
Same here. Good stuff. Looking forward to it. A lot of good action took place, and I'm sure we'll have a lot of interesting comments regarding said action. So, ready to jump into it for sure. Thanks.
Well, let's get straight into that. I can see Boz is in the house. Hello, Boz, as usual, a stalwart of the Watch and Score live streams. Good to have you here, mate. Over in the UK last night, there was a big heavyweight event all around, I guess. Headlined, of course, by Anthony Joshua versus Robert Helenius, a late replacement for Dillian Whyte, who unfortunately failed a drug test earlier on in the week, so it was a pretty last minute substitution, about the best that we could have wished for, and the event continued. I've not seen this. Unfortunately, I was away last night. I've not seen any of the boxing action, so you two boys have got to carry me through. I did see the stoppage. I saw the great shot that Joshua eventually threw and put Helenius out of there. Josh, give us your verdict on that display last night from Anthony Joshua, mate.
Well, if you haven't seen it, I think you'd be fine watching the highlights. That's what I think is the case. Probably for all of the heavyweight fights, highlights would suffice. I think you'll be fine.
Okay. Okay.
As it relates to Joshua versus Helenius, coming into this, I had stated that Joshua, he had to get the knockout. I felt he was going to get a knockout, and I felt it was going to come at some point early. Now, I thought it would be a little bit earlier than when it came, which ended up being the 7th round, but nonetheless, he was able to get the knockout, and he really touched Helenius with that right hand, and it shows that Joshua does have some pop in his punches. That being said, of course, Helenius, he's at that stage right now where if you have a young fighter, or at least a younger fighter who has some pop in there, then it's always going to be dangerous for him, just given his age, kind of where he's at in his career and all. So Joshua, of course, we saw the boxing version of him where he took his time trying to work behind the jab. Not a lot of urgency to go after Helenius there early on, but maybe that was the game plan. We compared with Deontay Wilder, who went in and pretty much sparked Helenius in the first round. For Joshua, he actually took some shots as well. He had a little bit of swelling, some bleeding. That being said, he got the job done. Now, he's still, I guess, feeling himself out there working with Derek James. And I think it'll take another fight, maybe two, before he's probably fully gelled with Derek James. That being said, he doesn't really have another fight or two to really kind of just learn the things, because they're talking Deontay Wilder next. And if that's the case, you might have seen my tweet last night where I said I don't think it goes beyond 2 rounds, and I don't see Anthony Joshua winning. Now, a few years back, I did have Anthony Joshua winning had he fought Deontay Wilder, more like 5 years back, I guess you could say, somewhere in that 2019 time frame. when Joshua had his full confidence as far as he was coming in, he was the man, he was the top heavyweight in boxing as far as the draw was concerned, and many people were backing him and standing with him as we moved forward. At this point, though, there's just something about Joshua, just in seeing him, and maybe it's the mental aspect, but I don't feel like it's that same confident Joshua that we had previously saw. Now, that could be just me reading into it a bit much, but I've also seen a lot of other people commenting on such, some of them being boxers themselves, pundits, etc., media members. So I think there's some validity to it. As mentioned, he did what he had to do against Helenius. It was not an over the top performance. It was a nice knockout, but outside of that, wasn't necessarily one of those fights where, okay, yeah, I'd be clamoring to go back and watch it or anything of that nature. I think the knockout in itself will live on, just like Wilder's knockout of Helenius will live on. But overall, for Joshua, he just did what he had to do, I will say, and it took him a little while to get there. So I think there's more work that Joshua will have to put in. I don't know if he's well. I would say that it's going to be tough for him to regain the titles unless they're stripped or somehow vacated and they're all over the place once again. But to think about him going in defeating Usyk or Fury, I don't see that. So he's in an interesting spot. But maybe he comes through. There have been fighters who have been in pretty sort of almost unfathomable, unbeatable situations, I guess you could say, but they somehow claw their way out of them. And maybe Joshua can claw his way out of kind of this phase of his career and get back to that guy who everyone was viewing as the future of the heavyweight division in some sense. And he's still a big time draw, so he will be here for sure. It'll just be interesting to see what he's able to do as far as title contention is concerned.
Yeah, yeah. So to echo, some things that you were saying there, Josh. A lot of people have, and they've said it not just from last night, but kind of over the years, especially since the Ruiz fight, pretty much that AJ's kind of gone a little bit. I don't know whether scared is the right word, but he just doesn't seem to have that instinct of getting the knockouts that he used to do. And he seemed a little bit fearful of getting hit a bit more, and maybe that's what leads to these less than exciting rounds until he eventually, usually finds a knockout eventually. Alex, what did you make of the performance last night?
Everyone wanted a knockout, and that's what we got, a 7th round knockout. It was a slow start to it. You could like Josh had mentioned earlier, that obviously there's some things he's still working out, trying to get more comfortable with what James is asking him to do, and going through it, you're watching, and it wasn't sizzling performance, it wasn't dominant that many people may have wanted and or expected. However, something Josh said that really stuck out: the knockout. That's what really matters. It was a beautiful knockout, and I think it does have to do with that mentality, right? Beforehand, Tony Bellew said it really well. 10-0 Joshua, 12-0 Joshua. Joshua after Dillian White probably gets Helenius out of there in 2 rounds. This one, however, he wants to, be more cerebral. He wants to really, he's trying to become a master boxer. And, it always sounds good, but it's so much harder to do. So basically, we've seen him try to work out those kinks. He got hit by a lot of hard jabs. You got to give Helenius credit for that. He does have a hard, stiff jab. However, it was obvious. The more Helenius opened up, the closer we're going to get to the knockout. And I feel like that's what happened. Helenius got a little more comfortable. He kept throwing that jab, the jab out, now bringing his hand back up. And AJ knew this since round 2. I think that's what is probably most bothersome. He talked about it. He said, yeah, he leans back. He's leaning straight back. So that's why he kept throwing that right hand. And right before the 7th round, I think Derek James just said, finally got through to him. He said, yo, trust the jab. You have to fucking jab, You use the jab, throw the right hand behind it. Commit. He said, throw that jab to his chest. So what did he do? It was beautiful if you really look at it. He jabs to Helenius' right hand to keep it at home. then jabs in like the midsection, between the stomach and the chest, and then unleashes this huge bomb, and we get that highlight reel knockout that is always going to be shown when it comes to an AJ highlight tape. So, at the end of the day, the result is what matters. We get a one-punch KO, and there's one fight we want, right? Deontay Wilder versus Anthony Joshua. We thought we were going to get this many years ago, and we're getting it now for no belts, most likely. And there's a possible undisputed fight, and this is bigger than that. This is now, I think this has become the biggest fight in boxing, I would say. So I'm excited. I just hope they get everything signed on the dotted line, and let's get ready to rumble.
Yeah, man, I totally agree, and I kind of put it out there before. This is probably come, when I say this, I mean Joshua versus Wilder. We believe it is going to be the next fight. That's what all the noises are being made are about, and I think even though it has come for maybe even 5 years too late, when they were both undefeated, they were both the biggest punchers in the game, they both had all the titles, it would have been an absolutely huge mega fight, an explosive one. It's still that huge explosive fight, just possibly a little bit less prestigious than it possibly could have been those years ago. But yeah, it's definitely a fight that every boxing fan wants to see. There's just these two huge punches in there, and a case of who lands first. Obviously, last night was kind of the benchmark for Joshua compared to how Wilder handled Helenius. Obviously, it took him a good while longer. And then off the back of that, everyone's going to obviously compare and have their own take on who's going to win. And a lot of people are mentioning Joshua's overcautious, overthinking things mentality that he seems to have, which is what you just both alluded to. And I guess maybe that's what's happening now. He's overthinking it too much, trying to be this new style of box that you suggested, Alex. And if he just goes more on his instincts like he did in his younger days, maybe he wouldn't be having as much trouble, and he'd just be able to bang out people a bit quicker and whatever. But alas, we got the result that we needed last night, a spectacular KO win. It sets up the Wilder match perfectly. Josh said this just there earlier, that he's got reservations that Joshua is possibly ready for that. He might need a bit more tweaking and whatever, but it sounds like that's going to be the next match. So let's just get it on. Hopefully there's no hurdles, and we're going to get that huge heavyweight fight that's going to keep the heavyweight division burning. And we know that the heavyweights are the ones that bring the fans. I put a poll out to see, who would be most interested in the heavyweight fight last night or the Navarrete Valdez fight. And I think they were fairly even. And I think one of our followers, it might have been Beagle, that said which fight are we most looking forward to. And I think both of you two said the heavyweight event, and I was a bit more thinking Navarrete and Valdez would be the one for me, and boxing fans really. But heavyweights, heavyweights bring the action. They bring the masses out to watch boxing. So there you go. Speaking of our followers and people that we like to interact with, I can see Beagle is in the chat. It's good to have you here. Boxiana, shout out to you as well. Thank you for stopping by. Larry's moves back as well. It's good to see you all in the chat. Please keep your comments coming, and hopefully you're going to be scoring along with us. Undercard of that event last night then, Alex, did you see the other fights on there?
I missed the surprise to me, the co-feature. I did not see the Chisora Washington fight, but I did see Philip Hrgovic versus what's the lefty's name? Dempsey McKean. And I gotta say, when it came to Hrgovic, I knew he had to win, obviously, right? And I think most people wanted him to make some type of statement. I'm not exactly sure what, but it wasn't that. Usually when someone gets a knockout victory, it's some type of buzz. But to be honest, I don't think I'm gonna be clamoring to see the next Hrgovic fight. He just seemed very timid. You could see Ronnie Shields screaming at him. There was a point in the mid rounds where he's like, "Listen, I'm not even gonna scream at you anymore. Like, if you're not gonna listen, fine. You want to keep going to your right, to his backhand. You need I forgot what he was telling him. I think he told him like the jab or something specific. McKean was really coming on towards the end, but he made it very ugly. He was grabbing a lot. You know, I believe he has an MMA background and did a couple fights. I expected to go to the distance, but shout out to Hrgovic because that was, you know, he was catching him with the right hand in the beginning, went away from it, looked like he was in La La Land, went back to it, got the stoppage, and like I stated earlier, at the end of the day, that's what matters. However, I'm not going to forget this performance, and you know, coming off the Zhili Zhang fight, I think he needed to get rid of that. You know, a lot of people felt like he lost that fight, so I think he needed to provide a new image, and he just didn't do that for me. But IBF mandatory, he's going to get his shot either against somebody that one of the top guys or for a vacant belt. So we'll see.
Yeah. Josh, have you got anything to add to that one?
So I'm gonna chunk it up to inactivity. Of course, he's been out a year, and I think it was a tough just year in general with his father passing away and all. He probably wasn't there in the gym how he should have been, but his performance was rather lethargic. Certainly not anything to write home about, especially if you were having someone new tune in and the expectations that have been on Filip Hrgovic. They would have seen this contest and thought like, what is going on with boxing if this is the next guy, you know? But certainly he has to get back in the gym. I think he has to get active as well. He seemed to thrive off of activity, at least prior to, I guess, this last year. So we're going to need to see a bit more of that, because these last two, even though the Zhang Zhilei fight, that was a good fight as far as the amount of back and forth we got between the two. But tagging that along with this one, yeah, Hrgovic, he definitely has to show us something a little bit more. And I think that maybe additional activity. I think it would be ideal if he were to get back in the ring again before the end of this year, if possible, even if that doesn't mean it's one of those mandatory situations or anything related to a title. I just feel like he needs the activity because he certainly did not look too hot here in this last contest with McKean, who, to his credit, was very good at surviving for the period that he was able to do so, because he knew how to tie up, and the referee had a hard time breaking them apart on multiple occasions. So that was my first time seeing Dipsy McKean, and when he was coming forward on offense there at the tail end of the fight, you could see that he could do a little something. He was touching up Hrgovic, but he spent the majority of the fight, though, just not exchanging. So with him not exchanging and the Hrgovic not having any urgency towards it, it just made for a bad fight. So I want to see Hrgovic again, as mentioned, hopefully before the end of the year, and then kind of reserve judgment there, because he was on a pretty solid trajectory, and yeah, he hasn't looked like that same guy here, at least that killer that we thought he was here in these last two fights.
I'll just say this: what is the famous saying? What is it? Shame on you, and then second time, shame on me. That's how I feel with Hrgovic. So.
Yeah, we've touched on it before, haven't we? That he was supposed to be at one stage, you know, the next big Eastern European scary heavyweight that was going to clean up the division. Just doesn't seem to have panned out like that, and he seems to have been around forever, and he still hasn't had that many fights in the scheme of things, especially for how long he seems to have been around.
Shout out Bosnia, though.
Shout out to Bosnia, yeah, and Buzz has mentioned there.
I didn't know that.
Yes, sir.
Buzz, his parents are from Bosnia. Hrgovic's parents are from Bosnia, like Buzz is himself. So there you go. Maybe he's a fan. Who knows? I think, Josh, did you see the Chisora Washington fight on that card? Did you want to say some words on that one?
Well, I couldn't really get too excited for it because it has no implications at the top of the division. It was just a fight that was on there, you know what I'm saying? So I watched it. I thought Chisora, he was coming for it. Washington, I've never been a big fan of Washington. I was actually going to put out a poll. Do you think Washington was better as a basketball player or a boxer? But I didn't do it. But that was on my mind. So, but no, Hey, Chisora, hey, he's still hanging in there. I think he can make for some interesting fights. But yeah, I didn't really. I had started scoring that fight. Then after a while, I didn't really pay attention because I was like, man, I thought this would be over by now, at least for one of them. And it went the distance. So that's how I felt about it.
Okay. I think it's time for Chisora to retire. That was all the comments I saw. I was trying to track it last night on Twitter, and that was the predominant narrative coming through, that Chisora just needs to call it a day. I don't know whether that was because he was getting beat up or he just... I don't really know. Anyway, let's move on from that. I think Johnny Fisher was also on that undercard. I saw some nice comments about his win. Josh, it looks like you saw that one. Give us some words,
Yeah,
man.
I've been following Johnny Fisher. He has a good backing as far as his people come out and support to him. I like what I saw from him as far as he was in great shape. You could tell that he's dropped some weight, and when he was on his toes, he can move a little bit. When he's throwing his straight punches, they're pretty quick. That being said, one of his issues was, of course, he was telegraphing a lot of punches, and when he was missing wide. Now, he could get away with that with some of these guys, like the individuals he was fighting, but he's going to need to improve and tighten up that, especially those punches outside of the straight punches. Now, some of that I do think also with the fact that I feel he wanted to really get him out, and he knocked him down there at the start of the first round because he was really gunning for it. But he had to settle in, and it ended up going, I want to say around 8 rounds or something, somewhere in that nature. So it showed that he showed up in shape, and he still has some promise. I like what I saw from him in this one. I think, keep him kind of continuing to step up the competition a little bit at a time. And I think that he's certainly promising, and he'll have the fans that could put people in the seats, put butts in the seats and all that stuff. So that's always a plus.
Yeah, he's a good ticket seller. I know that much so far. Did you see that one at all, Alex? Or have you seen Johnny Fisher before?
Yeah, I've seen him before, and what was it that he used to be like a rugby player or something like that? I remember hearing something that he has like this huge backing and
possibly something like
ticket
that.
Seller, and
yeah,
right. And he's a fun fighter. Like, he came out in that fight, guns blazing. He wanted to put that boy flat on his back, man. Knocked out, and he started off well. We seen him on the back foot, I think, for the first time, and ended up getting that guy out of there. So yeah, I think he's a fun style. We mentioned before, everybody likes watching the heavyweights, throw some leather. So this is my fight. All right, I want to see him against a guy I think is fun as well. Though I'm not a big fan of Richard Torres. Let's get it in, man. I don't care when, but let's build that up and just man, because both these guys try to blast you out. So it might be a 90-second fight, but it'll be memorable.
Oh yeah, the exciting one right there. Yeah, Alex did mention that, and that is one I'd be. You sign me up for it. Sign me up for it right now.
I'll take the American.
Yeah, I would as well. I saw again. That was another highlight I saw this morning on Twitter, because he fought last night, didn't he? We'll move on to that card anyway. We'll move on to Valdez, Navarrete versus Valdez. That's a good segue. Alex, we'll come to you first on this one, mate. I assume that you watched the fight last night. Give us some thoughts and opinions and scores out of 10 or whatever.
Yeah, so, coming into the fight, I was watching a lot of the top rank features, and they were really pushing this to be a Mexican war. And we've seen these guys fight, and very good chance these guys are going to go in there. There's going to be blood. I was expecting maybe a knockdown, maybe both guys get knocked down. And I've been on here before and said I'm not a huge fan of Navarrete, but I mean, how many more times can he go in there, beat a dude up, and I not give him credit? Valdez is a very good fighter. He's been, for the last maybe 5 or 4 years, he's been at that championship level, and I expected Valdez to win. That was my prediction, though I knew it was when I came here last time, I picked Navarrete, but actually behind closed doors, I was picking Valdez. I knew Navarrete was the bigger man, but I believed that Valdez was going to have a possible Burchelt moment where he was going to be technically sound when he needed to, counter this guy properly, and he didn't do that. He loaded up. He never could find that shot, and Navarrete he's like a beautiful mess, right? I mean, he's throwing uppercuts from one turnbuckle and hitting you on the other one. He was landing a good right hand over the top. What else? You know, the pace. I mean, I wrote it down here. In the last 3 rounds, he landed 89 out of 300 punches in rounds 10, 11, and 12.
Wow.
That's ridiculous.
Yes.
I think he might have landed more punches than Valdez threw. I gotta look at that because that's actually quite interesting. Oh man, so I kind of I think I provided myself with a bit of a safety by picking that on here, but my money was on Valdez.
Yeah, picking both that always helps.
Yeah, right. How dare I? So it's like, what's next for Navarrete? So Albert Bell just fought on Friday. He's number 2, I believe, in the WBO. They have an in-house with Abraham Nova. We've seen him get knocked out by Robisi, and then. Actually, it's getting a little bit of traction on Twitter because of a tweet that Shakur let out. Shakur Stevenson. Shakur doesn't have a dance partner. We've seen him get turned down by everybody, it seems. And there's a little bit of a storyline there. The last 2 weight classes Shakur has been at and vacated, Navarrete came and picked those belts up. They both just fought Oscar Valdez. Now, when Shakur was at 130, Bob Arum had said, "Listen, there's no reason to unify the whole division. The money's not out there. So with Navarrete, why would we talk about that as well? I know Navarrete is probably going to ask for less money than Shakur, but I mean, like I said, Shakur's missing dance partners. The WBC belt's been freed up at 135. The WBO belt could get freed up as well. So I think there's a real possibility we can see these two match up and." I mean, I got Shakur obviously, but I've overlooked Navarrete before, and he's a serious threat to I think anybody because of his style.
Okay, so I think that was some begrudging praise that you've just heaped on him for the last couple of minutes there. Nice work, Josh. Your thoughts on that fight?
Yeah, I like both of these fighters, Navarrete and Valdez. I've always liked Valdez. Been in some wars. And I think that shows because you see he swells pretty easily at this point. And of course, by the end of that fight, the right eye was completely shut and bruised red, and he was getting tapped up. It was almost a very different contrast as far as Navarrete, who, while he was tagged at times, really didn't seem to put a dent in him or do anything to truly hurt him in a major way. But you could see the fight on Valdez's face for sure. I think at this point, it's kind of like what Alex was alluding to. I think that peak moment for Valdez was certainly Burchelt in the way that he knocked him out. And I think that is going to be that peak highlight for Valdez. At this particular point, I think he's just going to pretty much hover around the 130-pound division. And assuming Navarrete moves up and doesn't unify anything, then maybe that's an opportunity for Valdez to step back in there, get a title again. Or if Navarrete stays there, I think that Valdez is just going to be one of those guys at this point who is a top-level guy, but I just don't know where he fully goes from this point, from this point of his career at least, because I feel like he's too small for 135. At 130, it's going to be still tough, just as it has been, and I doubt he goes back down. So he's in a pretty interesting place. But I call Navarrete the modern-day Harry Greb. As they said, Harry Greb stepped in, bounced in and out, threw punches from all angles, all types of crazy punches that are coming from anywhere technique-wise, looked pretty crazy, sloppy or whatever, but Navarrete has made it work. And sometimes you have fighters who really can't adapt and adjust for that type of crazy style. I was thinking about Mayorga being able to defeat Vernon Forrest, and Vernon Forrest, technically sound, just wasn't able to figure out Ricardo Mayorga for some reason, and then we could go on with the triangle theories. As far as Vernon, he had he had Shane Mosley's number, so on and so forth. But it's an interesting thing there with Navarrete. Him and Shakur Stevenson, I too favor Shakur Stevenson, but what if it's one of those situations there, Alex, sort of like a Mayorga or Vernon Forrest or something, where he just has too crazy a style that it just works out for him. But no, I'm going with Shakur because I feel like he's generational talent. And I would love to see that one. I wasn't thinking about that one in particular, but Navarrete, he looks like he can carry 135 for sure. So maybe that's the best move, at least for the biggest fight, because yeah, I don't feel there's much there for him at 130, and he could definitely generate even a lot more buzz at 135, I believe, considering there's some names around there beyond just security, even, just think about some others who are there. So that's my thought on it, but good fight. Some people are saying fight of the year. I didn't think it was a fight of the year. I think it was a very good fight. That being said, they're also talking rematch. Yeah, I'll watch it again. It was fun. But that being said, I don't think it's necessarily needed. So Navarrete, Shakur Stevenson, if they can make that happen, I'm with you there. Let's do it.
Yeah, I saw quite a lot of good, good praise on Twitter, but it was a good fight. It might not have been that close to warrant the rematch, but a good fight nonetheless, which is all we could ask for. Two Mexican warriors. Excuse me. Didn't quite live up to Morales Barrera, but then what really can. Okay, so some good action in the chat. There's lots of comments coming in. It's really good to have you all on board. It's getting late for some of us over in Europe. Boz, we appreciate you being here. We know it's nearly midnight over there in your time zone, so hang on in there because we are going to get scoring in a minute. If you're not already done so, please hit the like button and subscribe if you're not already done so. If you like what we're doing here, we're going to bring you many more of these live streams, fun, interactive, scoring, watching some interesting boxing bouts from years gone by. And speaking of which, I think it is time to get set up into this week's. So, Alex, do you have a bit of an introduction for Holyfield versus John Ruiz? Take it away.
Always, always, always. So let's get to it, right? So this is Evander Holyfield versus John Ruiz 1. So that's a little bit of information for you to interpret how this may go. Let's start with John Ruiz, the quiet man. He's 28 years old, 6'2" with a 78-inch reach. However, I came across some information that said he had as long as 80 inches. He's from Chelsea, Massachusetts, coming in at 36-3 with 27 knockouts. He's attempting to become the first Latino heavyweight in history, heavyweight champion in history. Now let's go on to Evander, the real deal Holyfield. 37 years old, 62.5 inches tall, 78-inch reach from Atlanta, Georgia. He's the former 3-time heavyweight champion, attempted to become the first ever 4-time champion. 36 wins, 4 losses, 1 draw, 25 stoppages.
Sweet, thank you very much. I always find it quite funny when people say, oh, he's a certain amount of time champion. And it kind of sounds good, but it also has the impetus that means that you've lost at some point. So it's nothing really to big up. Anyway, there were some instructions on the screen this whole time and in the description of the video. Hopefully people on board know what they need to do. There should be a link also to the actual scorecard for this fight in the video description. You can just click straight through to there. You don't need to sign up if you don't want to. You can just score the fight along with us as we watch it. You just won't see your scorecard when we come to assess the scorecards at certain periods of this stream. So I will remove that bit from the screen and we should have the fight ready to go. No introductions, straight into it. Hopefully you boys have got your scorecards ready. Everyone that's joining in has also got their scorecards ready. Let's do it. We'll have low volume on there. By low, that's muted. There we go. All right, boss. I will throw up a link for you in a minute. straight into it.
Alrighty.
They boys be fighting.
Now, how old was Holyfield in this contest, Alex Jr.?
37, he said.
Wow. 37.
So this fight, yeah, it's August 12th, August 12th, 2000. It's in the Paris Hotel, Las Vegas, Nevada. Promoted by Don King. Brought to you by Showtime.
Here we go. Holyfield has a little bounce in those 37-year-old legs here to start.
I mean, 37 ain't that old. I mean, he had been he had been around forever though.
Fought till like his mid-40s, right?
Oh yeah. He was still going way after this. He fought in even as late as 2010, didn't he? Pretty sure he was fighting then.
Going for a while.
That's 10 years after this fight. Jesus. And he'd already been fighting more than a decade at this point, hadn't he? Since the mid-80s.
Mm-hmm. And he had been in some wars too.
Now this fight here is actually for the vacant WBA heavyweight title. Holyfield was coming off of back-to-back fights with Lennox Lewis, a loss and a draw. Lennox Lewis had became undisputed after defeating Holyfield, but he was stripped because he signed to fight Michael Grant instead of John Ruiz. So that's how this fight came to be.
Oh yeah, so this was immediately after the Lennox Lewis fights, because they were 99, wasn't it? No, 98 and 99, whenever it was.
Back to back,
That's right. Yeah, because we covered that one previously on the stream. Lewis versus Holyfield. Was that before you boys came on board, or did we do it together?
That is before.
Yeah. Hey, Ruiz came out a bit more active than I thought he would.
I was just about to say the same thing.
Yeah, before we came on, we was suggesting that he wasn't known as the most exciting of fighters from memory, was he, John Ruiz? But
he's hook is landing. Yep.
He's come out strong. So let us know, those of you that are in the chat, let us know who you're scoring these rounds for as we go by. So round one's in the bag.
Oh wow, jump right in there.
Quick shout out to Alexander Campbell. Good to have you here on board. And someone else just put in there. Max Duran. Hello, I'm here because of 86. Joshua bringing in the fans. Thank you for joining us.
Cheers, Max. Appreciate you dropping by, buddy.
Appreciate it. All right, people saying the Ruiz round. Let's get them scores in, boys.
Nice right uppercut right there.
One thing I did notice as I was setting this fight up is I was skipping through the ring walks, and it's nothing like the extravagance of what you've got these days. It was quite refreshing. Just get them walking into the ring. No rappers, no big stage shows. Just get in the ring and fight. We should bring them days back.
Man, look at that urgency from Ruiz. What the heck?
I mean, I could understand it though. Holyfield's 37 years old. You know, he has a lot of miles. Been in a lot of hard fights. He had a trilogy with Bo, 2 fights with Lennox Lewis, 2 fights with Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
His cruiserweight career. So makes sense. You're the younger, fresher guy.
It's crazy. thinking about all that wear and tear and the fact that he would still go on.
Notice these two had pretty similar records at this stage as well. But had Ruiz just accumulated a lot of fights in a short space of time?
It's a pretty dirty fight here. You know, these guys are definitely looking to hold and hit each other. But you can see Ruiz is
Ruiz
definitely
is
trying to, you know, put his body weight on Holyfield, really making sure you try and tire him out. We like to see Holyfield jab. He's
Right.
more just using his guard and trying to see what. I'm not really sure what he's trying to do. But we all know Holyfield could win an ugly fight.
oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
Really, what he thrives in.
nice body work there, slipping those in.
I mean, this is a closer round. It's, you know, Ruiz has been a bit more active and going forward, but not landing much significant. And Holyfield's countering him.
Yeah, you know,
The
Ruiz
ground
has
they
landed
had-
some good left. I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Alex.
I was just gonna say he's landing a couple good left hooks, but yeah, kind of basically a lot of it's smothered work.
Come on, boys, round two. Don't be sat in this scrappy shit, hugging. Okay, bit of a closer one, that one. How are we all scoring that one? Boss says there in the chat, it was funny when Holyfield lost the ball first time. Merchant asked him if he wanted to continue fighting, and he went, well, no, not really. Good bit of honesty.
I haven't seen that fight.
Good bit of honesty.
That was a good one. I like Holyfield's work in that round. Ruiz was marching forward, but tying him up, a good deal.
Yeah, that mean these highlights are showing more of Ruiz, but
That's nice though. Nice punches landed there. Maybe I missed something.
Yeah, I mean, when you're watching these highlights, what I'm seeing is Ruiz is leading, Holyfield's responding, and Ruiz is ending the exchange. Exactly what you want to do. That was really nice work he did on the ropes there. Not much on those shots, but still scoring.
so there we go. Max gave that close round, but to Holyfield, Boz has got that one to Ruiz as well as the first. So, you know, already we've got some swing rounds potentially. I think that was close enough to
Nice
warrant
grab.
either way.
Oof. Really enjoying this work by Ruiz. You know, he's really snapping that jab off, staying off the line, keeping him, you know, keeping his hands, you know, close to either, you know, counter or just to keep a good guard. So it's exactly what you want to see, I'm sure, if you're the trainer of Ruiz.
Shout out to Rodolfo Rivera in the chat. Good to have you here. Thanks for stopping by. Oh, that was a cracking shot.
Man, I'm enjoying that left hook by Ruiz, man. Something actually I miss seeing Virgil Ortiz. That's what he always did. He would plant his front foot, kind of transfer his weight to it, and just hit you over the top with the left hook. Very effective shot, especially if you're doing a nice little rhythm.
Yeah.
Very clubbing right hand. You could definitely tell there was a specific game plan for this fight. I think they mentioned it. Ruiz said he has to win the first three.
Yeah. Yeah, you can tell. Yeah, definitely some urgency there. He's like, I'm not going to be bullied, and he's down with mixing it up.
And guys in the chat, we just want to make sure that you guys can hear us all three of us. Make sure the audio is good. But anyone can just confirm. Last time we had a little bit of issues.
Yeah, we don't want to repeat that again. audio was good. Thank you for clarifying that.
Yeah, appreciate you guys. Also, since you're right there, please hit that like button. Appreciate you all. I hope you're enjoying this fight, man. Ruiz, I mean, this is, you got to be very, like I said, very, very happy with the game plan as
Oh,
Holyfield lets off a combination. Nice left.
Oh,
he
hurt
got a
him.
bit wobbly legged
There
there,
you go,
but
guys.
Ruiz.
Headbutt there too. Oh, it's
Ooh,
on shaky
ooh,
legs.
ooh.
Oh Jesus, he's doing his abs
Like me
judo.
at the 5 tequila shots.
Ruiz fumbling and bumbling around there trying to grab.
He is hurt on those Zab Judah legs.
Hold up.
Okay, well
Man,
that's got to
Ruiz
be
is fighting so well.
Holyfield round then.
Yeah. Like I said, Ruiz is doing so well. I mean, like I said, the left hook, the jab, his defense, smothering Holyfield's work, and then Holyfield lets out a combination.
Oh, there it was. The right hook around the guard.
Ooh.
Right on the temple, I think. That staggered him. Bad.
So the last thing to go is the power, right?
That's what they say. That's what they say.
Right where you
man.
want to land it too. Yeah.
And you know, that's what Philip Hrgovic was doing against McKean in the beginning, if you recall. And then he just went away from it.
All right. People clarifying there in the scores in the chat. Good to see. 2 on Holyfield.
You see, Holyfield has that space, and he's obviously at this range. He's kind of dominating.
Mm-hmm.
This has been a fun heavyweight fight so far. Only 3 rounds gone.
Yeah.
Better than last night's heavyweight action, I assume.
It definitely sits on that, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that was a nice little peach. The difficulty with Holyfield is he's got that granite chin, hasn't he? So something lands, it just bounces straight off his head. And he continues forward. You can't tell if it's doing anything.
Well, now we finally got, it's been kind of a slow last, 30 seconds.
Yeah, they've definitely slowed down a bit, haven't they?
But yeah, I agree, Boz. Definitely Ruiz came in here hungry. I think he's shown that. He does have 3 losses coming in. His big fight was about 4 years prior against David Tua. Everyone remembers David Tua. And David Tua. He knocked him out in 19 seconds.
That was
that
was a devastating one, wasn't it? I remember that. Nearly took his head off.
Yeah, definitely, you could tell. I mean, someone could take this over this round.
Yeah. I was gonna say that Holyfield. Yeah, his pace has dropped. He's letting Ruiz get back in it.
Bizarre 4th round.
Yeah, he's 37 years old.
Maybe that's the key right there.
Okay,
I agree. You would want him to try to press the action a little bit more, knowing that he had the man. He had the man hurt for 30 seconds. He was really gone. So
yeah.
we'll see if that haunts him later.
we'll get our scores in and take a pause and have a quick look at the scorecards. Okay, we'll pause it there.
Good one so far.
Yeah, I'm enjoying this one. See, it's a good one. I need to see if I've got the correct screen going up. All right, we've got a good amount of scores coming in. There we go. Okay, so just a quick overview and outline of the 2, 3, 4, 5 scorecards that we've got, and other people are obviously scoring in the chat as well. It looks fairly close. I reckon we can have a look at our combined scorecard to see what we're all scoring it in a combined way. So we gave Ruiz the first 2 rounds collectively, fairly close winning margins. Well, 58-42 is a bit wider in round 1. Round 3 we gave to Holyfield. That had to be right because he had Ruiz in trouble, so that was a given. And then Ruiz won that 4th round as well. Fairly wide winning margin as well. 3 rounds to 1. I think that's pretty fair. 39-37.
Not bad.
Let's go back and see. So that's what Alex and Boz and Beagle all have it. So there you go. Myself and Josh have it even so far, 2 rounds each. I think that's pretty fair.
Yeah.
We'll do some comparison scorecards on the next pause. We'll continue.
I see a cut.
Good scoring, guys. Oh, he's turning it into a little click.
Gang, gang.
Team Alex.
No, we'll just say team right.
Yeah, fair enough.
Time will tell.
Yeah, Ruiz looks like he's back. I like, a little pep in his step. But Holyfield's looking confident himself.
Winged in some big uppercuts there. Missed, but the intent was there.
Definitely bad intentions. Yeah, that wasn't. Definitely want to make sure you maintain your balance. If Evander Holyfield is sharp enough to make you pay, especially with those uppercuts he was throwing earlier.
Mm-hmm.
If you may not recognize the referee with because he's bald, but that is Richard Steele in there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I'm really enjoying John Ruiz's jab. It really is. I seen him when he was a little bit older, but this jab is definitely it's a beautiful jab.
Oh yeah.
I actually was there for the David Hay John Ruiz fight when Hay knocked him out. That was a beating, and obviously he was past his best at that stage, Ruiz.
Certainly.
But Hay looked good, man.
Definitely looks good.
They were the days.
Yeah.
I mean, you're seeing, he's keeping it nice and straight. You can't really counter it. He's landing too clean for you to counter it. Yeah, no, that was a fair assessment.
Why does Boz always do spoilers?
Always, right?
Always.
Can't help it.
It's his thing.
Cut Boz's mic.
Earlier in the fight, you saw a lot more work in the clinch, and it seems these guys are just not doing that anymore.
Ooh,
Okay.
nice exchange there.
Some respect there from both guys, you know.
It's a great point, Boz. He is, and I don't think people really thought that was going to be possible because Holyfield is always seen as a very strong, strong guy.
Oh, we got arrows.
Oh, we got arrows.
Mm. That was a nice jab too. Nice thudding jab that landed right there.
Mm-hmm. Certified stick there.
Okay, scores coming in. Max Duran has it 3-2 Ruiz. Boz has it 4-1 Ruiz.
In losing in the fashion that Ruiz did at the by virtue of the Tua fight, that can change the dynamic of a fighter mentally. But he seems to not be phased by it.
Yeah, guess we was kind of alluding to that a bit with Joshua earlier. That Ruiz fight might have changed his dynamic.
When I was doing a bit of research on this fight, I believe I came across a quote, and Holyfield believed that Ruiz couldn't hurt him. And, I don't think he's been visibly, too affected, but, obviously it's enough to where he's not trying to counter too much.
Certainly. Makes you wonder if Holyfield coming in probably thought that it wouldn't be as tough for Ruiz as it's turned out to be. Maybe.
Uh-oh, we have an even round.
Take.
That's fine, Alexander Campbell. I endorse an even round when it warrants it.
I'll let you know when I see one. Oh, I see. Okay, yeah, Alexander has one. Interesting. I'm assuming that last one for round one.
What's going on here? Small stumbling. Is he in trouble again? He looked a little bit unsteady there.
Getting a little crazy in there.
Boz is a famed even rounder, yeah.
There's a few of y'all's out there.
I've been known to dish out the odd even round. I don't mind it.
You see, man, with space, Holyfield always does well. So, but he's just not jabbing. Letting Ruiz be first.
Some complaints as well then by Ruiz. That's not a good sign.
I think Holyfield, I know it says he's 37, but he looks fine. He looks physically, he looks powerful. It looks like, he has decent speed.
Yeah.
It's just not pulling the trigger.
Last 30 seconds of round 6. Getting a little bit scrappy now. There's something wrong with... I don't know, I think it's just some tassels around his boots. I thought it was something getting tangled up.
I agree, Boz. That was a very strange round. I'm not sure how to how I feel about it.
Oh, okay. Thought he was going to say the E word.
Yeah, certainly not one of those type rounds. But I will say that Ruiz is not outpacing Holyfield by much, but he is a little bit more active.
The other thing that stands out for me in that round was that one point Ruiz looked a little bit wobbly and he was complaining a bit, so he lost. It's even rounds all over the place. Right, into round 7.
Wow, yeah, Ruiz is trying to hold on, and Holyfield said, "No, sir."
Oh, that was a nice
Oh, look at
nice right
that! The
hook.
World Wide Web existed.
It was nice. Nice uppercut.
Yeah, Max said that last round was close. Boss suggested they were taking a break. It was a strange round.
I don't understand why Holyfield's just not jabbing.
Yeah.
Give that boy some steroids, man.
Yeah. Nice left hook in there. But I'm
Mm-hmm.
with you. He looks good physically, but yeah, he's not pulling the trigger offensively in the same capacity that we're accustomed to from Evander. Nice jab from Ruiz, though.
I mean, he can beat Holyfield to the punch.
Certainly.
He's doing that kind of combination 1-2, and then he just follows it up with clinch, and that's annoying. Oh,
Ooh. Nice one.
taking some big shots there, Ruiz. Wow.
Nice. Holyfield starting to come on a bit offensively.
Bundled him over.
WWF.
Okay, hip toss.
Let's go.
Moved him a little too easily, if you ask me.
That
was
some nice
that was a
shots.
competitive round.
Nice
Yeah.
shots.
Close one right there for sure.
Yeah, tricky. Help us out in the chat, please. You see, no, this is good though, because with our system, it's not just fuck it 10-9 to the champion. You've got to add in your reason as well. You've got to think about it a little bit more. That being said, it's difficult. It makes things more difficult. Well, that was a fast car. Two comments there back to back, they've, one for Holyfield, one for Ruiz, so a very close round that last one.
Come on, boys, let's get active. Guys, you got to throw punches. Jesus Christ. I'm sorry, Max. Are you saying you have 3 even rounds, or?
No, it's 3 rounds each and then an even round.
I want to make sure.
Got even rounds on your mind. You're absolutely steaming in your head.
Hey, Max, even rounds are not allowed.
Boss has got an even round. Max has got an even round.
Even round Sunday.
I think Alexander's got an even round in there as well.
Yeah. No, it's been some close ones. Competitive fight.
Oh, yeah.
It's a nice right hand by Ruiz off the clinch. He picks us up at all times, man. Whenever you see Holyfield just let his hands go and land, I have the strong feeling that he could do it more if he chose to.
Yeah.
Well, we said it earlier, he's had a long career even to this stage. He's an old 37, isn't he?
Golly, it's frustrating a little bit.
Nice body work.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus, man. Holyfield just does not flinch.
Yeah.
He eats them shots.
Ruiz came out of nowhere with that. I mean, come on.
Oh, and
Like I
again.
mentioned before, he fought Tyson a couple of times, Lewis a couple of times, Bo 3 times. You're talking about 3 of the biggest hitters of the 90s and 2000s.
Yeah.
I don't know about how you're doing it, Alex. So some kind of magic shit's going on. You just sort of disappearing act.
Oh,
absolutely invisible, but still there.
What can I say? I'm amazing.
Yeah, like a magician. Yeah, he's back. He's back. Both landing in there, but I think Ruiz's shots were the crisper ones for me. And that was round 8, so I will take a pause. What's that there? I will just get my score in.
It's getting interesting.
Very much. Very much.
Let me get to the right screen. Do a refresh.
That last round was an interesting round. Very interesting one. I see you there, Beagle.
Okay, let's get the boxing chit crew comparing against each other. We'll go a bit different this time. Let me just change that screen over. All right, so we've got Josh on the left hand side, and we've got Boz's card on the right. You're in the spotlight, Boz. So we'll go from round 4 onwards because we looked at those earlier, but we've already had one difference in the round there. Okay, so from round 5, you both had it to Ruiz, absolutely fine, more active, landed the clean shots, and then we got a dreaded even round. Look away, Alex. And Boz gives round 6 even. And it couldn't have been that even because Josh said that's a 60-40 round to Ruiz. He was more active. Josh has done some additional comments here. Very nice. Very close round. Ruiz did more. Holyfield landed the more significant shots, so he gave Holyfield round 7. And that also ties in with what Boz gave as well. And you were both in agreement in round 8, 10-9 to Holyfield, which makes it 4 rounds each for Josh, 76-76, and 76-77 for Boz, which is 4 rounds to Ruiz, 3 rounds to Holyfield, and 1 even. So that's how you can compare scorecards if you are a member, a registered member, and you are in a group. You can then select 2 scorecards and then just have them side by side. That's one of our cool features.
Oh, not bad. I can see why this is going to end up being potentially controversial.
Oh yeah,
score-wise.
definitely.
How you hanging in there, Jim? I know it's late.
It's not as late as it is for Boz, but he scored an even round. So there you go. He must be tired.
Right.
Hey, no, I'm good. I'm not too bad. 11:15.
All right.
I'm really enjoying this fight. I know it's getting a little bit scrappy in places, but it's been a fun fight so far.
Definitely a good clash, you know.
Yeah.
When it's Ruiz is getting nice single shots from that mid range, closing the distance, and at a distance, Holyfield is doing the better work.
Yeah, and I feel like Ruiz should take advantage of this slower paced Holyfield. Dream opportunity right there.
Yeah, we alluded, excuse me, we alluded to it earlier that if you think back to 2000, if you'd have said, "Oh, it's Holyfield versus Ruiz," would we have really thought these styles would gel? Probably wouldn't have been all of that intrigued about it, to be fair. I'm obviously interested because it's a heavyweight fight and there's titles on the line and stuff, and they are 2 of the top guys, but you wouldn't think it'd make a good matchup.
Again.
Hey, but Ruiz has been a little bit too content for me. I mean, Holyfield isn't really throwing. At least triple up that jab or something. It's an opportunity right there.
Oh, that was a good shot.
Well, he wasn't lying about that.
What was that? Sorry, I didn't quite hear that. What did the commentator say? He's about 50 years old?
No, that he would fight until he's 50 to become undisputed.
Oh, wow. Okay, he wasn't messing, yeah. I think the audio comes through to you two quite loud. I have it really low for the stream.
And now you're starting to see Holyfield a little bit busier in the clinch.
Yep.
And I agree with you, Boz. Definitely seen Ruiz starting to see that energy being sapped more than definitely Holyfield's.
Right.
He's
Crazy.
a little unsteady on his feet.
He wasn't doing much prior to these last 30 seconds, and Holyfield definitely did more.
That round finished quick then? I don't know. What's going on? Oh, okay.
Mm,
Hmm. Who is that in Holyfield's corner? Anyone know?
I didn't even catch him.
Okay, Buzz has got his scores 4-4-1, Max 5-3-1. I think they might be talking about football formations. Or soccer,
Four four
sorry.
twos. 4-3-3.
Your head explode if there was a 4-3-3 scorecard. 3 even rounds? Come on.
Hey, back in the 70s, you did see them now. It was like one of the Sugar Ray Leonard, Roberto Duran. I think the first fight. If you look at those scorecards, it's insane the way they look.
Oh yeah.
Oh, he's got him again. He's all over.
Ruiz, what the heck is going on
Oh,
with you?
that
He,
left hook.
he caught a left
That
hook,
was a
yeah.
nice body shot Holyfield got in.
Yeah, that was no slip.
Oh, he's caught him on the chin as well there. Oh. Oh.
Ruiz is looking for a break.
Yeah,
He's
I think
tired.
so. Unless we get a replay, I didn't really see a low shot there.
Just trying to catch his breath. He'll be good here in a sec.
A free break. I guess we'll get a replay during the break for that one. Holyfield needs to pounce.
Right.
Oh, both landing.
Holyfield really committing to those.
Yeah. Ruiz is no longer throwing combinations.
He's looking tired, isn't he?
Holyfield definitely looking like the fresher fighter.
Yeah.
Walking him down, too. Yeah, I don't think he's playing possum.
This is another tough one, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that was another Holyfielder right there, to be honest with you.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, I think it's...
Come on, buddy. See how this one ends.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, it definitely
Yep.
caught him and then hurt him. It was just a headshot. And then where's this low blow? That's not low. It's on the belt line.
Yeah. Yeah, right. Kind of off to the left a little bit, too.
Just a nice body shot. Yeah, I forgot about that wobble early on, so...
Championship rounds.
Yes, sir. Gonna have to bite down. Ruiz, if you want this championship, you started out so great for. You gotta bite down.
Yeah, needs to on my scorecard. It's a few rounds down. Boz has got Holyfield up ahead. Max has got Holyfield ahead. Alexander gave round 10 to Holyfield as well.
Ruiz, I don't know if you're aware of this, but you have to throw punches to win.
Right.
I mean, that's solid advice. You should take up coaching.
One of the few double jabs we've seen from Ruiz as he doubled the left hook as well.
Right.
Got a nice over right hand in there as well.
Mm-hmm. Got another slow round here.
Yeah.
Round's definitely for the taking. I might be edging it to Ruiz a little bit. He's actually landed a few shots,
Oh, what
though
was it?
they may have not been so effective.
I'm in agreement.
As he landed that missile right hand. Huh?
Yeah, that was beautiful.
No reaction.
Yeah,
no
yeah.
one reacted. That's crazy, right?
It looked pretty nice. Looked like it landed square.
Definitely the best shot of the round.
Now we can't let him come back.
Trey Titan 176. Thanks for stopping by. He's putting the Ruiz fights cures insomnia. This one's been pretty good, to be fair.
Yeah.
We have alluded to that.
I was a little hesitant when we first came to this, but it's definitely been worth a watch.
Oh, yeah,
I'm glad that we settled on it.
This has been enjoyable, definitely. I mean, they are, getting towards a snail's pace at this stage, but,
It's been a grueling fight.
Yeah, it's been tough, man.
Yeah.
What is Ruiz doing?
Close round here. Man, that was a close round. Tough one, I guess you could say. Interesting.
Yeah, Ruiz landed the memorable ones for me.
Yeah. He did a little bit more than Evander right there. Agree there, Boz. Weird close one right there for sure.
Another weird close one. He's always hinting when it's an even round.
He's just trying to put the feelers out there, see if he's justified in his potential 10-all.
Evander's not breathing that hard, actually.
Max gave that round to Ruiz. Yeah, that's fair enough, I think. Yeah, this is a close fight, man. This is close.
I've disappeared. No.
Final round. He's back. Alexander gave 11 to Ruiz as well. So if you're tallying up, let us know what your scores are heading into this final round. More tape issues. Yeah, Beagle, your scorecard is showing up in our group, so
Oh yeah.
we'll put that up after this round. After we hear the scores, we'll assess you. Don't you worry. We'll judge.
We will dissect it.
Correct.
We will make you wish you never scored.
Did Ruiz have Panama Red in his corner? Look at the way he's moving. Jesus Christ.
Maybe. Emergency there. Need to take this last round there, Ruiz.
Yeah, they both recharged the batteries. The last couple of rounds they've had a breather, and they've both been told you need to win.
It was interesting. The commentators are definitely talking down on Holyfield, but I feel like he's, he let some rounds get away, but I mean, it's very much a competitive fight that if you have it either way, I could understand.
Mm-hmm.
Certainly.
Trying to hold on there, Ruiz.
Ruiz, come on.
There's only one fighter that looks comfortable in there right now.
Right. Not looking good in his 12th.
Holyfield looks like he's in round 1.
Yeah, he's swinging for the fences, man.
Looking like the Barry Bonds of boxing.
Ruiz complaining again.
I'd be complaining too if someone keeps hurting me every time they hit me.
Right. Come on, Ruiz. He had such great momentum in this fight.
Yeah, he's unraveled.
Such a great start. Great jab, great game plan. But it's hard to do at the top level for, 12 rounds.
Yeah.
And that Holyfield left hook has been dangerous.
Ruiz looks like he's ready to go. Lucky.
Holyfield, every time I see him, he just looks like the definitive boxer, isn't he? If you just said, what does a boxer look like? You draw Evander Holyfield. He's the definition of a boxer. And he looked pretty good in that last round.
This is going to be an interesting one right here. Interesting scores. Oh, I see you there, Max. 7-4-1. All right, not bad, not bad.
7-4-1. Max says to Holyfield. Boz says 116-114 to Holyfield.
Who's he talking to?
Interesting.
To the ref.
It's about the elbows and the forearms. Holy slammed a few in there. One of them started John.
Oh, my.
Bleeding.
Told me what you do. They told me exactly how it would end up.
Wow.
That's exactly what they
Oh, yeah, I remember this guy now.
You can't take a point away, you're scared.
He's not happy. I don't know, I paused it. Oh, he wanted points taken from Holyfield. Okay.
Letting it be known right there.
Well,
Hey,
I've never
not
seen that before from a corner man.
Oh, Versace on that shirt.
Ref's just not selling that whatsoever. Right, this is going to take a while, isn't it? If it's going to be a controversial one, they're going to be getting the calculators out.
I believe actually Dave Moretti is one of the judges.
Oh wow! I'm just going to forward it on a little bit just to speed up time. Got some replays, but okay, here we go. Jimmy Lennon.
Las Vegas, we go to the scorecards. We have a unanimous decision. Here are the score totals.
Unanimous, huh?
Fernando Viso scores the bout 116 to 112. Judges Dwayne Ford and Dave Moretti both score the bout 114 to 113. All three in favor of the winner. And now the four-time heavyweight champion of the world, Evander, the real deal.
A four-time.
Man.
Incredulous.
Steve, I always talk about agendas. No better a picture can be painted for an agenda than Evander Holyfield, Mike Tyson for the trilogy.
Hey, I think that
That was ridiculous.
Ruiz is gonna be kicking himself for some of those rounds he gave up there at the tail end, barely throwing. And Holyfield was
What?
barely throwing.
Was there a point taken away?
They must have did an even round or something.
What were those scores?
114, 113 from two of the judges.
114, 113. That means a point had to be removed. Because if it was an even round.
Maybe this is a robbery that Ruiz was talking about then.
That must be the controversy about it.
I'm guessing it might
Looking
be an
at it,
even
in
round.
round
We need to get these
three.
scorecards, see what the heck was going on.
In round 3, they gave it a 10-8. Two judges gave it 10-8 for Holyfield. That was the round he was hurt, right?
For real? Well, yeah, he didn't go down, but he was hurt. But I can't believe they made that a 10-8 round. That's crazy.
Oh, you got the actual scores there, Alex? Yeah.
Yeah. I'm looking at it right now. So, yeah, 114, 113, Moretti and Ford. And, yeah, round 3, they gave it 10-8, while Fernando Viso gave it 10-9.
Now, I could understand if he was getting blasted the entire round, but he got caught there at the tail end, and, hey, he did what he could do. He held him.
Wow.
But, yeah, I'm in agreement with Beagle there. I don't think it was a robbery for sure.
No, man. I mean, let's have a look. I've just got our scoring group up here. So, Beagle scored it a draw, 114, 114, and the rest of us have scored it for Holyfield. So I gave it 115, 113. So did you, Josh. Great score. Oh, so did you, Alex. Congratulations.
Hey, so, yeah, that's funny. We ended up being back at 115, 113. That seems to be the majority there.
And then Boz gave it 116, 114. Let's see what that comes to in the combined scorecard.
Boz with an odd 116, 114. Very odd score right there.
He gave at least one even round, didn't he? So, yeah, the average collectively is a 7-5, 115, 113 to Evander Holyfield. You know, the winning margins are pretty close. I guess that tells the tale. It would be quite interesting to see if we put in the judges scored round by round, how that would pan out. I will do that after the fact, and I'll put out some tweets about that. Yeah, just I'm gonna look at some of these latest comments. It's not a robbery. Says Beagle. He said he hates my score like Holly won to me. He also gave a draw. Okay, Beagle said earlier.
With you there, Beagle. Some of them were close, you know.
Max says next time I'll be in the live scorecards. Yes, Max. If you just join our scoring group, I'll quickly show you. If you are registered, you have to be a registered member. You will have an item in the menu that's my groups, and if you click into there, you're able to join a group, and then there's an access code which is in the description of the video. If you put in the access code and click join, you'll be into that scoring group, and then we'll see your scorecard in there. Along with the rest of us that are in this group. So there's quite a few of us in there. Hopefully more will come along in future as well. And the more the merrier. Anyway, that was a really fun fight. I don't think it was a robbery. I think that, again, you know, we've said this plenty of times before on these streams. I think we're dispelling a lot of myths. And it seems to stem from the commentary team when they kind of get up in arms and say, oh, this was a robbery or a bad decision, or as they just put it, incredulous. And we've just not seen it that way whatsoever.
No, that tends to happen. That tends to happen when you go back and look at some of these fights and score them with that intent. Yeah, you tend to see things that kind of a little bit different than what was initially thought. So I don't think it was a robbery for sure. And I do think there were some rounds that were close, but also some rounds where Ruiz, being the fresher fighter by comparison, should have took advantage.
Absolutely. Any close?
And he didn't look good in that 12th round either.
No, he
No
didn't.
way he should have been letting Holyfield outdo him in that 12th round. Come on, man.
Absolutely. Any final words from you on that one, Alex, before we move on to what's coming up in future?
No, man, that was such a great start from Ruiz. I found myself rooting for him. However, Holyfield, you saw it when he wanted to. He took control of that fight. So I definitely believe he was the rightful winner, and it just lets you know how narratives are so important. I'm sure people thought Holyfield was going to probably just win easily, probably knock Ruiz out, who already got destroyed in round one. Shout out Bama Bo. So no, definitely, that was a great fight. Don't see exactly why it was controversial, but if we go back in the year 2000, we probably would have had our pitchforks out.
Yeah. Maybe, like I say, the commentary team was outraged about that. The corner man in the ring suggesting that points should have been taken or something like that. Maybe that's where the controversy comes from, I guess. But it's good to watch these fights back and just kind of dispel myths when it needs to be. Bama Bo, appreciate you stopping by. Great fight, great show, he says. Appreciate those comments. And we'll see you in future streams, hopefully. And before we do disappear, let's just have a quick look on the next couple of weeks worth of decent boxing events that are coming up. I've just got that up on BoxRec here. You should be able to see that on screen. Yes. So let's just quickly get into it. Before we do, if you're in the chat, if you're enjoying the stream and you haven't already done so, please give us a like and subscribe as well. We'll be doing this plenty more times in the future. Live streams, watching and scoring classic and historical and controversial fights. It's always good fun. Anyway, let's move on. We've got more heavyweight action coming up. Oh, this is like 2 weeks away, so there's nothing coming up next weekend.
Nothing I guess,
to shout
spectacular.
home.
Yeah, prospects. What's that one guy? Galal Yafai, I think he fights on Friday.
Galal Yafai. I'm decreasing the BoxRec star ratings to see if we can get some more stuff coming up.
I usually just put 1 star up. That usually helps.
Yeah, but then we have loads of stuff to fill it through.
Yeah, but it helps you. There might be a prospect that's really big, or maybe the BoxRec rating system I'm not a huge fan of. So.
Go on then. We'll do some scrolling. See, now we're in the Philippines.
Oh man, look at you! Why you gotta do all that? I know there's a couple. We've been blessed here in the United States. The Zone's really, giving us a couple different shows. I believe on the 18th, on a Friday, there's just a couple small prospect shows. Nestor Bravo is facing somebody, and then I think Kurt Scooby?
Oh, there we go. Yeah.
I think as well. I'm not sure. I looked at it real, briefly earlier.
Yeah, you're correct there. Nestor Bravo is on one card against Will Madeira on DAZN. That's both of these are on DAZN. I see what you're saying now, yeah. Kurt Scooby is in there, along with quite a few others there. Some crazy names going on. Money Powell the fourth. Interesting. But yeah, it's good that DAZN are showing some of these lower key cards, I guess we can call them. Did you want to?
They don't run over each other because I think they're on the same day.
Yeah, they're both there. Friday the 18th. One's in Orlando, one's in Atlanta, so that's the same times. Yeah, you might.
Yeah, that Atlanta one. So yes, that Overtime Boxing. It's a newer promotion that they're really trying to build up profile these fighters. They've done a really good job with basketball.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're trying to get in the boxing game. They have their own arena, and I think every week in August they're having a fight there.
Well, that's pretty cool.
What's up?
That is cool.
Money Powell was a little promising. I think he's light heavyweight. He took the loss. He's bounced back somewhat, looking to get back into the mainstream picture. So he's going to be on the zone. So that's good.
All right, and also on that night, I can see there's a card in York Hall at Bethnal Green. That is Dennis McCann. He was a super bantamweight that's got a little bit of promise about him. Nathaniel Collins is on that against Reza Hamza. That looks like a decent matchup on paper. Raven Chapman's a female with a little bit of a push going for her. She's against someone that's undefeated there. But let's skip on times. It's nearly bedtime, boys, so we need to move things along. Shout out if you see anything.
I mean, the big cards, right? Like you said, it's August 26th. I mean, you can just go straight there because, like I said, it's just like prospects. I see it as great. Basically to feed our need for boxing. Not every week we're gonna get these great. We're gonna get Crawford Spence every 2 weeks. So I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, no problem. Escalon, if I let you mentioned. Okay, I'm going back to the more harsher filter. Sorry, boys. Let's go 3 stars and up. That's what I do. Okay, Alexander Usyk versus Daniel Dubois. It's over in Poland, which I don't know why, but that's news to me. I'm pretty sure I've seen that before because he can't obviously fight in the Ukraine, can he? So I guess that's the next best place for him to go to. Are we expecting anything from this other than a Usyk win? I mean, Dubois, obviously we know he can punch a bit. Has he got the puncher's chance? Alex, give us some thoughts.
It's a mandatory fight that they ordered. They're going to make some pretty decent cheese. Usyk gets to fight near his home country. That's basically it when it comes to it. I don't think anyone really expects Dubois to be able to do much but have a puncher's chance. Usyk gets a fight, in and get ready for a possible Saudi, matchup with Fury or some type of big fight because he did sign with their, the skills challenge. Let the games begin, basically. I would expect Usyk to win quite easily. If he gets a scare, he gets a scare. But, no matter what, Usyk hand raised when it comes down to the decision being read.
Okay, Josh, what have you got to say on this one?
Yeah, I kind of lean in a similar way as Alex. So, I do think that this is, of course, going to be the toughest fight of Daniel Dubois' career. The last time he had his toughest fight, we know what happened. That was against Joe Joyce. In this case, of course, Alexander Usyk doesn't fight like Joyce, so I expect it to be more of a boxing lesson, I guess you could say. And there's a potential, for a stoppage or something of that nature. I just don't think that Dubois at this particular stage is on that level of an Alexander Usyk. And I've said it in the past that I don't think him getting that title over Trevor Bryan, I don't think that was a good thing for his trajectory because it provides sort of a false view, a false narrative of him being a champion when that belt didn't matter in that capacity. But that being said, hey, this is better than, I guess, Tyson Fury taking on an MMA guy or something of that nature, not to throw shots at him out there. But I expect Alexander Usyk to win this. I was thinking it was going to be in Saudi Arabia for some reason, but it's going down in Poland. So it'll be good to see that atmosphere. But that being said, I do think it's a Usyk victory. And hopefully, knock on wood, we get an undisputed world heavyweight championship matchup at some point, maybe in early 2024 at this rate.
So how do you think this is going to end? Is it a decision or stoppage? Go, Alex.
I'm going to say...
sorry, Josh. Go.
Decision myself. I'm going to say decision unanimous for Usyk.
Alex, what do you go with?
Yeah, definitely a unanimous decision. Just kind of cruise through.
Yeah.
Get to the end.
Yeah, I think I'd go with that as well. Well, good luck to Daniel Dubois. I quite like Daniel Dubois. You know, he's a fun fighter. He's got good power. We're seeing him obviously crumble a little bit against Joe Joyce, but hopefully he might have learned from that. And then there'll be more fights from him in future, even if he was to lose this one. So he's still a young lad. There's also Denis Brunchik on the undercard against Anthony Gidget. He's Swedish, I believe, isn't he? And Brunchik, where's he from? Oh, he's Ukrainian. So I guess he'll be expected to win. Have you guys seen Brunchik before? I can't remember.
I remember he's Mindy, but I can't remember if I saw him taking on Barinchik. No.
Oh, that was on Tyson Fury versus Chisora on the card at the end of last year.
Maybe I did see that. I know I wasn't paying full attention.
Nope. Okay, let's move on. That's all we've got to say about that one. Was there anything else then that's worth talking about? A Jagber? Go on, Alex.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, it's a quick turnaround for Jared Anderson. You know, a lot of people thought that he was. I'm sorry. Oh yeah, it's not showing on that screen, but yeah, you click on event. And
there we go.
That's
there
the
we
main
go.
event. And I don't know at all who he's facing.
Rudenko.
I know he's faced a couple of guys. Every UK guy I talk to seems to recognize Rudenko.
Yeah, I recognize the name.
Yeah, Rudenko.
But yeah, man, Jared Anderson, quick turnaround. People were, I guess, you know, it's as we just saw, when there's expectations so high, when they're not really reached, you know, to what you believe is a full potential in this particular fight, steam seems to, you know, get blown out. You know, you're just not, you're not that guy, I guess. And it's like, well, it's one fight. I don't think he was exactly like exposed in any way against Charles Martin. Keep in mind, it's the first time he faced a champion. It was a late replacement. He was supposed to fight Jean whatever, who's fighting a Jogba, and you know, with what is that? Oof, I'm not saying that name.
Kosabutski?
Yeah, oh, that sounds right. So yeah, now he's, you know, they're keeping him busy. They're bringing him right back again, and I think that's a great decision. This guy's older, and I expect Jared Anderson to take care of him. And yeah, I'm looking for the knockout. And if he doesn't get a knockout, you know what? Maybe there's other things that could be shown that he's a quality heavyweight. Because a lot of people here in the U.S. are looking at Jared Anderson to be a future champion and to be the next guy up.
Josh, you got anything to add to those thoughts?
I'll just say that, yeah, I like Jared Anderson, like the trajectory he's on for sure. I saw a number of names on Rudenko's resume, so he's been in there with some top-level elite opposition for sure. So it'll be interesting to see how Jared handles him. Maybe at this stage of his career, it's kind of tailor-made for a younger, fresher guy like Anderson. As far as a Jogba, it'll be interesting to see how he looks. You know, he's a part of team or camp Anderson, so I don't see the two of them fighting. But Kosabutski, that's who was going to initially fight Jared Anderson, and it was expected to be a pretty good fight. So I think it's going to be an interesting fight. Might be the fight of the card, depending on if we see some exchanges there between Jogba and Kosabutski. I guess I got that right. But yeah, looking forward to that one for sure. And hey, it'll answer some questions because Jogba, you know, he was touted and seemingly in line to be that next potential heavyweight star, given his power and all.
Yeah.
But he ran into Frank Sanchez, so let's see how he looks now. He's been working with Kate Karoma, and as mentioned, working with Jared Anderson. So I'm sure they've gotten in sparring, all that good stuff. So it'll be interesting to see how that all comes together here in this contest with Kosabutski. So I look forward to it.
Yeah, man, that seems like a pretty decent, you know, double header heavyweight card to tune into. And we'll see.
I wanted to mention Jalolov. That's a name on there. He's someone that people tout as the future of the heavyweight division as well. So it just so happens he's on this card. So the heavyweight division has a lot of youngsters. Well, he's not necessarily young. I guess he's young in his pro career, but a lot of guys who can have it heating up here over the next couple of years. And Jalolov is one of them. He knocked out Richard Torres when they fought it was an amateur event or maybe even one of the ones that was kind of semi-pro like. But that being said, a lot of people
It was a
are
world
backing
championship.
him.
Yeah, there's quite a few of these Eastern Europeans, and Uzbekistan, from that kind of region in the heavyweight scene that look a little bit scary. And we've got big knockout records. There's that Magdamov Russian guy as well, and one or two others that, it keeps that heavyweight division looking at least interesting and hopefully competitive for the next couple of years.
Top Rank has those heavyweights. They have a lot of ammo there, a lot of ammunition.
Okay, anything else to add to that one, boys? Or I think that could be a good time to finish, unless I've missed anything else.
I mean, just a shout out to a couple of the young prospects. Shushu Carrington. He's always somebody that they speak about, and Abdullah Mason. I think is becoming one of the top, top prospects in America that everyone's been talking about. If anyone knows boxing.
Yeah, there's lots of excitement for him, isn't there? Only 19 years old.
Yeah, a lot of people are getting behind Abdullah Mason. He looks good so far. He looks poised. So look forward to what he does. And then I see that Jeremiah Milton is back in there. He's a heavyweight, American heavyweight, who we'll see what he pans out to be. But he's American heavyweight on the come up somewhat.
Dreamland Jeremiah.
Hasn't really been tested yet.
It's a nice alias.
See how he does. Then I saw Nico Ali Walsh. Look at that name right there.
Oh, there's the big one.
Nico Ali Walsh,
Names of names.
Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. Be on the lookout.
I guess that's quite a showcase then, isn't it? Two decent heavyweights to headline and then a showcase of up-and-coming talent. It's a pretty decent card, that, to be fair.
In Tulsa, Oklahoma, baby.
Beautiful. All right, I think on that note, that gives us a nice ending point. It's been a really fun couple of hours. That I've enjoyed it, boys. Thank you for everyone that stopped by and interacted with us in the YouTube chat. It's great to have you all on board. A quick shout out to Boz, who's always here every single time. Thank you for stopping by again as usual. Alexander Campbell, thanks for stopping by. Beagle, Max Duran, Trey, and there's some other names in there that I'm forgetting. Boxiana, and who else came in near the end?
Bamba Bo, Larry Smooth.
Bamba Bo, yeah. Larry Smooth, Heavy Jev guy. Just seeing his name pop up. Heavy Chevy guy, sorry. Thank you all for stopping by as usual. We'll be back in a couple of weekends' time. We will post up what we're going to be covering in the upcoming weeks. And we'll be putting out some videos of clips from this live stream in the next couple of weeks as well. Anything else to add, boys, or is that it?
That's another great week, man. Can't wait to see what's the next fight. There's a couple good ones I'm already peeking at, and we're always gonna have something to talk about when it comes to boxing. That's the beautiful thing about this sport.
And I'll just say Team Combat League is going to be kicking back off here very soon. That's a new type of fighting tournament style. I guess you can call it tournament. Tournament. It's 18 rounds, and you're switching out fighters every round. So it's interesting. Yeah, it's some kind of tournament style format, but it's been pretty interesting watching it. But they're kicking things back off in their final. I think they're down to the final 4. One team is out of DC, of course, so rocking with them.
All right, that sounds interesting. Yeah, I'll have to learn some more about this because I've not heard of that whatsoever. So I'll be messaging you about that one. Yep, so that'll do us for this week. We appreciate you all for stopping by. Salute. We'll see you all again in a couple of weeks. Y'all take care now.